Have you ever wondered how the Windy City came to be? Well, let's rewind the clock to the 1780s. Our story begins with a man named Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable, an African Caribbean, who is often hailed as the founder of Chicago. He established the first permanent settlement near the mouth of the Chicago River, a location that would later become a bustling hub of commerce and trade. The city's early growth was nothing short of impressive. The 1800s brought a wave of expansion, transforming this once quiet trading post into a thriving frontier town. One of the key catalysts for this growth was the establishment of Fort Dearborn in 1803. The fort played a crucial role in the War of 1812, serving as a strategic point for the United States in its conflict with the British Empire. However, Chicago's growth wasn't without its challenges. The city faced numerous trials and tribulations, from devastating fires to economic downturns. But like a phoenix rising from the ashes, Chicago always managed to rebuild and reinvent itself, demonstrating a resilience that would come to define its character. The city's growth wasn't just limited to its economy and infrastructure. Chicago quickly became a melting pot of diverse cultures and ideas, drawing in folks from all walks of life. This cultural dynamism would later give birth to some of the most iconic aspects of Chicago's identity, from its deep dish pizza to its vibrant blues music scene. Chicago's story is a testament to the power of perseverance and innovation. It's a tale of a city that refused to let adversities define its narrative, choosing instead to carve its own path. From the vision of Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable to the resilience of its people during the War of 1812 and beyond, Chicago's journey is a compelling narrative of growth and transformation. So, how did the Windy City come to be? It was through the grit, determination, and spirit of its people. From its humble beginnings, Chicago was destined to become a city unlike any other. Can a city rise from its own ashes? In the case of Chicago, the answer is a resounding yes. Let's take a moment to travel back in time, to the year of 1871, a year that would forever change the face of this great city. October 8th, a day etched in the annals of Chicago's history, saw the outbreak of the Great Chicago Fire. A blaze so fierce it consumed over 3 square miles of the city, leaving a third of its population homeless. A devastating event indeed, but it's not the fire that defines Chicago. It's the city's indomitable spirit in the face of adversity. In the aftermath of the fire, the people of Chicago did not merely aim to rebuild, they aspired to rise, quite literally, from the ashes. The destruction gave way to a construction boom, marking the dawn of a new architectural era. The city's engineers and architects, brimming with innovation and tenacity, turned their gaze skyward, and so, the birth of the skyscraper took place. The home insurance building, standing 10 stories tall, was completed in 1884, a beacon of resilience and a testament to the city's unfaltering spirit. It was a groundbreaking achievement, paving the way for the modern skyline that graces the city today. The skyscrapers of Chicago are not just towering structures of steel and glass, they are symbols of the city's triumph over adversity. They speak volumes about the grit and determination of its people. Every gleaming facade, every soaring pinnacle, is a chapter in the city's story of resilience and rebirth. Today's Chicago skyline, a mesmerizing blend of historic and modern architecture, serves as a constant reminder of the city's journey from ashes to sky. It stands tall and proud, a testament to the city's unyielding spirit and its unwavering resolve to rise above challenges. So yes, a city can indeed rise from its ashes, and in the case of Chicago, it didn't just rise, it soared. Out of the ashes, Chicago rose higher than ever before. What happens when a city is told it can no longer have a drink? Well, it gets creative. And in the case of Chicago during the Roaring Twenties, it also gets a little rowdy. The Volstead Act of 1919 brought the era of prohibition to America, banning the production, sale, and transport of alcoholic beverages. Chicago, a city that thrived on the bustling nightlife and saloon culture, was hit hard. But the city's thirst for spirits wasn't easily quenched. Instead, it gave rise to a shadowy underworld of bootlegging and speakeasies. One name stands out from this period, notorious and infamous: Al Capone. He saw an opportunity in the city's dry spell and seized it. His empire of illegal booze, gambling, and other vices made him one of the wealthiest and most feared men of the era. The city's law enforcement and political figures were no match for Capone's influence, and his reign marked a dark chapter in Chicago's history. But it wasn't all gloom and doom. As they say, Necessity is the mother of invention. And so it was with the birth of jazz and blues in Chicago. The city's underground bars and clubs needed music, and the African American community, migrating in large numbers from the South, brought with them the soulful sounds of jazz and blues. These rhythms found a home in Chicago's underground scene, providing a soundtrack to the city's defiance of prohibition. Artists like Louis Armstrong and Bessie Smith took the stage in these hidden venues, their music echoing through the smoke-filled rooms. They gave voice to the city's struggles and dreams, their melodies seeping into the cultural fabric of Chicago. So, the Roaring Twenties in Chicago were a paradox of sorts. On one hand, the city was in the grip of organized crime. On the other, it was the cradle of a cultural revolution. Prohibition, intended to instill morality and order instead, gave rise to lawlessness and a vibrant cultural scene. Despite the dark times, Chicago found its rhythm and made it swing. How did a city once known for its crime become a beacon of economic growth? That's the question we're about to answer as we delve into the post-World War II era, a period when the city of Chicago experienced an astounding economic boom. This was a time when the Windy City began to redefine itself, transforming from a place infamous for its crime into a vibrant economic powerhouse. In the aftermath of the war, industries across the nation were repurposing for peacetime, and Chicago was no exception. The city saw a significant growth in a variety of sectors, from finance and publishing to food processing. The wheels of industry were turning at full speed, and Chicago was at the helm. The finance industry, in particular, started to flourish. The city's banks and financial institutions became titans of industry, influencing the nation's economy and setting the pace for economic growth in the region. Publishing, too, was on the rise. With an influx of talent and capital, Chicago became a hub for writers and publishers alike. The city's presses were busy churning out everything from newspapers to best-selling novels, and Chicago's voice was being heard nationwide. And let's not forget food processing. With the city's strategic location, it was perfectly positioned to become a leader in this industry. The aroma of success was in the air, quite literally, as food processing plants popped up all over the city. But it wasn't just these industries that were growing. Chicago was also rising as a transportation hub. Its strategic location, coupled with a robust infrastructure, made it a nerve center for trade and transportation. Goods flowed in and out of the city like its lifeblood, further fueling its economic growth. So, you see, in the years following World War II, Chicago underwent a metamorphosis. It shed its skin of crime and emerged as an economic butterfly, so to say. The city was thriving, its industries booming, its economy surging. Chicago had become the heartbeat of America's economy. It was no longer just the Windy City, it was now the city that was driving the winds of change across the nation. What makes a city more than just its skyscrapers and industries? Let's take a journey back to the 1960s and 70s, a time of profound transformation and cultural revolution in the heartland of America, Chicago. During this era, Chicago became a hotbed of creativity and innovation, giving rise to influential movements that would shape the city's identity. One of these was the Chicago School of Architecture. This wasn't just about erecting buildings, it was about challenging conventions, breaking boundaries, and redefining what architecture could be. The Chicago School architects dared to dream, and their legacy of steel and glass still graces the city's skyline today. But the revolution wasn't confined to architecture. Literature too found a home in Chicago, with the city giving birth to the Chicago Literary Renaissance. This was a period when writers, poets, and playwrights found their voices, turning their pens to capture the spirit of their city and their time. They sought to tell the stories of Chicago, of the people who lived there, of the struggles they faced, and the dreams they held. Their words resonated far beyond the city's limits, influencing a generation of American literature. And then there was the music. Oh, the music. Chicago was the birthplace of the Chicago blues, a genre that would go on to inspire countless musicians and shape the course of popular music. It was raw, it was real, and it was unmistakably Chicagoan. From the smoky bars on the South Side to the grand stages of the world, the Chicago blues became the city's heartbeat, its soul, its voice. The cultural revolution of the 1960s and 70s transformed Chicago. It wasn't just about economic growth or urban development, it was about culture, about art, about expression. It was about giving a city its soul. So, what makes a city more than just its skyscrapers and industries? It's the culture that thrives within its borders, the creativity that it nurtures, the stories that it tells. By the end of the 70s, Chicago had become a city of culture, a city of soul. What does Chicago have to offer to the world today, you might ask? Well, let's dive in and find out. Chicago, the heart of Illinois and the third largest city in the United States, is no stranger to growth and prosperity. In fact, it has been on a steady path of economic growth since its inception. Today, it's a global city, a hub of commerce and trade, with a gross domestic product of over $600 billion. But what sets Chicago apart is not just its economic prowess, it's the city's diverse population. Chicago is a melting pot of cultures with people from all walks of life calling it home. This rich diversity is reflected in the city's vibrant lifestyle. Whether it's the food, the music, or the arts, you can see the influence of different cultures everywhere you go. And speaking of food, Chicago's culinary scene is second to none. From the iconic Chicago-style pizza and hot dogs to the exotic flavors of its many ethnic neighborhoods, the city offers a gastronomic journey like no other. But Chicago isn't just about food and finance, it's also a city of innovation. Home to some of the world's top universities and research institutions, Chicago is at the forefront of technological advancement and scientific discovery. And let's not forget about the arts. Chicago's cultural scene is as diverse as its population. From the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, one of the world's leading orchestras, to its thriving theater scene which has birthed numerous Broadway hits, Chicago is a city that values and celebrates its arts and culture. Chicago is also home to the iconic Chicago Cubs and the Chicago Bulls, teams that have left an indelible mark on the sporting world. Sports, just like food, music, and arts, is an integral part of the city's identity. All of these elements come together to create a city that's not just economically strong but also culturally rich and diverse. A city that's open to innovation and change yet holds on to its unique history and traditions. Chicago stands today as a testament to resilience, innovation, and diversity. It's a city that has something to offer to everyone. From its impressive skyline to its bustling streets, from its diverse food scene to its vibrant arts and culture, Chicago is truly a city like no other. Why should you make Chicago your next destination? Well, that's a question with countless answers. Chicago, the Windy City, is an urban paradise that's brimming with countless attractions, each one promising a unique experience that you'll cherish forever. A city known for its awe-inspiring architecture, Chicago's skyline is a testament to human ingenuity and creativity. You'll be left breathless by the towering skyscrapers, each one a marvel of modern design. But it's not just about the tall buildings. The city's architectural prowess extends to its bridges, parks, and even its subway system. But Chicago isn't just a feast for the eyes, it's a treat for the taste buds too. The city's culinary scene is a melting pot of flavors from around the world. Sink your teeth into a juicy deep dish pizza, or savor the smoky goodness of a Chicago-style hot dog. And don't forget to wash it all down with a cold craft beer from one of the city's many breweries. Music lovers, this city is your playground. Chicago's music scene is as diverse as its architecture and cuisine. From the soulful tunes of the blues to the heart-pounding beats of house music, there's a rhythm for everyone. And with festivals happening all year round, you're bound to catch a live performance or two. Museums more your thing? Chicago's got you covered. The city is home to world-class museums, covering everything from art, history, science, and even the universe itself. Each one is a treasure trove of knowledge and discovery, just waiting to be explored. Tourism plays a significant role in the city's economy. And it's no surprise why. With so much to see, do, and taste, Chicago is a city that knows how to welcome its visitors and keep them coming back for more. The Windy City is not just a place, it's an experience. It's a city that celebrates its past while embracing the future. It's a city that invites you to explore, to discover, and most importantly, to enjoy. The Windy City awaits, ready to blow you away with its charm and character. So, what have we learned about the Windy City? From its humble beginnings as a small frontier town, Chicago has grown into a thriving metropolis with an incredible history and a unique cultural significance. It's a city that has seen it all, from the fiery ashes of the Great Chicago Fire to the sky-high ambitions of its towering skyscrapers. Chicago's roaring 20s were a time of prohibition, but also a time of cultural revolution. Jazz music filled the air, and the city was a hive of activity, with people from all walks of life coming together to enjoy the vibrant nightlife. The post-war boom saw the Windy City transition into a major economic powerhouse. Chicago became a hub for jobs, attracting people from all over the country and the world. Its diverse population has contributed to the city's rich cultural tapestry, making it a melting pot of traditions and customs. Chicago's state animal, the white-tailed deer, is a symbol of the city's connection to the natural world, while the state slogan, "Land of Lincoln," is a nod to its historical significance. The city's cultural significance is also evident in its many attractions. From the iconic Navy Pier to the magnificent Art Institute, Chicago is a city that celebrates its history while also looking towards the future. Its music, arts, architecture, and food all tell the story of a city that is constantly evolving and growing. Chicago's economic growth has been nothing short of remarkable. From a small trading post to one of the largest economies in the world, the city's growth has been fueled by its people's resilience, innovation, and spirit. As a tourist destination, Chicago offers something for everyone. Whether you're interested in history, culture, food, or just want to take in the city's stunning skyline, the Windy City has it all. Chicago, a city born from humble beginnings, rising from its ashes, swinging to its rhythm, and welcoming all with open arms. If you haven't yet, it's time to experience the Windy City.